What is an executive function coaching session? How long should it be? What do you work on? My name is Sean, and I'm a former public school special education teacher turned executive function coach. If you are a parent, educator, or inspired student looking to learn more about executive function coaching, you came to the right place. Also, if you stick around to the end, I will share with you my easy to follow framework for running an executive function coaching session, my guide for finding the perfect EF coach, and more. Ready to get started? So what is an executive function coaching session? The primary goal of an executive function coaching session is to focus on the development of self-management skills. When working with a student, the session should be more focused on identifying upcoming and missing assignments, determining priorities, and negotiating plans with teachers, rather than solely focusing on content, which is the focus of tutoring. EF coaching sessions often include breaking large assignments into manageable chunks, calendaring out work sessions using your calendar of choice, requesting accommodations or modifications if needed from teachers, and task initiating on things that might be avoided without additional support. Overall, the focus of the session is on developing and enhancing key executive function skills. Executive function skills are the skills that allow us to reach our goals. I describe these as positive skills. P stands for planning. O stands for organization. S stands for self-management, self-advocacy, and self-awareness. I stands for inhibition, or being able to avoid temptations and distractions. T stands for time management. I stands for initiation of challenging tasks. V stands for visualizing outcomes, or your ability to leverage your nonverbal working memory. And E stands for evaluating priorities, or being able to determine what comes next. Together, this set of powerful executive function skills can be used to do anything from turning in that pesky algebra assignment to building and constructing something as great as the Golden Gate Bridge. So why are executive function skills so important? Well, according to peer-reviewed research, executive function skills are more important for long-term academic outcomes than early literacy or math skills. They help you have more success at work, be a better partner in your close relationships, and overall allow you to have a better quality of life. So who needs executive function coaching sessions? Well, I think everybody can benefit from enhancing their executive function skills. But specifically, students with ADHD really benefit from executive function coaching. This video will focus on strategies that can be used in sessions for middle, high school, and college students. So why is EF coaching so important? Well, school by nature is a demanding environment, often overwhelming. Given students with ADHD already have challenges with their attention, supports and strategies for them to manage these overwhelming demands are essential. Research tells us that ADHD is the single most negative impactor on student achievement from a global study of over 250 million students. Therefore, it is vital that students with ADHD receive appropriate supports so they can be successful in the school environment. But executive dysfunction not only impacts students with ADHD, it can also impact autistic students, twice exceptional students, students with dyslexia, dyscalculia, and dysgraphia, or traumatic brain injury. Additionally, late diagnosis adults with ADHD who struggle to manage the challenges of working life may benefit from executive function coaching. For more about executive function coaching for adults, check out our ultimate guide for adult executive function coaching in the description. So how long should an executive function coaching session be? Well, I found that 45 minutes is the sweet spot. Longer than this, and you risk overwhelming the student. Shorter than this, and it can be difficult to do the deep work necessary to develop executive function skills. The key is that these sessions are held on a weekly basis, so you can do the consistent, necessary work to develop these skills over time, in the same way that you would work on something like playing the piano or lifting weights. You wouldn't just do it once in a while. Additionally, if you're a coach and you're scheduling sessions in hour increments, giving yourself 15 minutes between sessions to write notes, have a quick bio break, and get back online with your next student can be very helpful. So how often should you meet? Well, as I mentioned, weekly is best, but if you're not going to meet weekly, At a minimum, you want to meet weekly during the school year. It's okay to pause sessions over breaks, but you want to make sure you're consistent with your meetings so that you can really develop these skills. I've also found that over breaks or during the summer is a great time for young adults and adults to work on transition activities like creating a resume, finding a job, or identifying big goals for their career. So what exactly should you work on during the session? I've developed what I call an order of operations for a successful coaching experience, and this is PEMDAS, but not the type you use for math. Let me walk you through what PEMDAS stands for and how you can use each step to connect and support your student with EF challenges. So the P stands for prioritize a secure connection, and you can focus on this for the first 5 minutes of the session. A couple questions you can ask to support a student in this area are things like, is there anything you want to discuss before we work on school items? This helps the student feel relaxed, lower the affective filter, and connect with you so you can support them. Another great question to ask them so they feel trusting and supported by you is, hey, what's the cheat code to work effectively with you? The E stands for establish SMART goals, and you can spend about 5 minutes on this. So in this section, you can ask what I call the magic question. And this magic question goes like this. What would happen by the end of this session for you to feel like this was an excellent use of your time? This allows the student to generate executive ideas that can help them feel less overwhelmed and more focused because they're taking the lead on the session. The M stands for make everyone aware of the goals, and you can spend about 10 minutes on this part. And a great activity to do in this section of the coaching process is to make sure that they communicate with their teachers their plan. So if they've said, hey, my plan is to turn in this late history assignment, it's a great idea for them to reach out to their teacher and say, hey, I'm planning on turning in this history assignment. I know it's late. Can I still get credit if I turn this into you by the end of the week? The D stands for divide goals into chunks, and you can spend about 5 minutes on this. So once they've identified what they want to do, they're sure that they can get credit for it because they've made their teachers aware of those goals. Then you can move into taking whatever assignment that is and breaking it into manageable chunks. So a question I like to ask in this section is, hey, what's the best next step you can take on this assignment? Another question you can ask if a student is struggling with what to prioritize is ask them, what assignment has the greatest point value in the class with the lowest grade? This is a pretty simple way for them to identify something that's going to have a big impact on that class with a low grade. The A stands for accountability, accountability, accountability. And you can spend about 15 minutes on this. And I say it 3 times because this is probably the most important part of the coaching session, is that you stick with them and help them move the needle forward in their goals. So during the session, this might look like, hey, what's the most important next step we need to take right now on that assignment you want to work on? Can we set a timer? How long are you willing to work on it for? And typically when a student gets started on an assignment that feels overwhelming, they tend to feel better and are willing to work on it more throughout the session. At the end of the session, you can also ask them something like this. What's one thing you can do between now and our next session to make forward progress? I then ask, how can you show me that you did that? And then this is where you can get them to either send you a picture or some type of proof to start being accountable for working on things outside of the session. Now the S in PEMDAS, the final step is show them you're proud. And this can take about 2 minutes in the remainder of the session, which is where you say, what do you feel most proud of for this session? And they'll identify things that felt good, and you can celebrate them for the hard work they've done during your meeting. You might be wondering, how do I end a coaching session? A great way to end a coaching session is confirm your next meeting time. You want to make sure you're moving the ball forward and continuing to work on these things. And so you can identify that next time, confirm it with them, make sure there's no barriers to you all meeting again, and then end. Additionally, I always like to ask this question at the end of a meeting with a student. Was this helpful? And then pause and go silent. This gives the student an opportunity to share what they liked, what they didn't like, so you can take that feedback and adjust your approach or reinforce the things that they appreciate you're doing. This is a very powerful question to ask students and often reduces problems that might occur because you're not asking for feedback. So you might be wondering, well, what do we do if we get everything done? Should we end the session early? So there's usually more work to do than you think. And things I recommend you do if you're noticing that you're getting things done early are confirm with the teachers, are they on track to earning their desired grade in class? Now, I don't recommend you send the email. I recommend you teach them how to send this email so they can confirm with their teachers and make sure they're meeting all the expectations that might not have been written down. I also recommend that they set up an email template for their teachers so they don't have to rewrite this email every time. If you check out my other videos, you can learn how to make Gmail templates so that you don't have to rewrite things over and over. And students love this because it saves them a lot of time. Something you can also do is help them identify their goals beyond school success. Many students have aspirations to do things beyond school, but they don't have time to think about those things because they're always playing catch up with their assignments. So if you start to help them get back on track, you can start to make a list of, hey, what are 25 things you want to accomplish in the next 5 years? Why don't we identify 5 of those things that you really want to focus on? Another activity I like to do with students is called One Day 10 Years From Now. So if they have everything done, have them write down what a day in their life 10 years from now would look like if it was exactly the way they want it to be. What they did in the morning, what they do in the afternoon, what they do for work, how they enjoy their free time, who they're with. Visualizing this idea or outcome that they want to have happen is really powerful in helping them think about steps they need to take to work in the direction of their ideal lifestyle. So if they do learn how to manage school independently and your supports are not as needed, that's actually a winning situation. They can slowly phase you out and try school independently. Maybe in the future, as they transition to college or work, they might need your support again, and that's okay. So how much planning do you need to do as a coach before the session? The most important thing you can do as a coach is know exactly what the student needs to do and what they'll be expected. This means you might want to log into their portals if the family and student give you permission and check on those upcoming and missing assignments because you want to be aware of those so you can make sure the student is also aware of them and then support them in developing a plan and taking action around those. Ways you can do this are log into their portals in advance and check in on things, or take the first 10 minutes of each session to review all their portals and then take those upcoming and missing assignments and put them in what I call a student dashboard. Keep in mind, if you're a parent that's expecting the coach to work outside of the sessions for your student, be prepared to pay for that. And if you're a coach who's working for a student outside of the sessions, make sure you build that into your billable rates so you don't feel resentful or unhappy that you're doing additional work beyond the sessions and not charging for it. So can EF sessions be held online? 100%. As an EF coach, I do all my sessions online. The way I keep students engaged is I have them share their screens so I can see what they're doing and what they're working on. I also ask that students have their cameras on so I can read their nonverbal body language to identify if there's things that I need to help with or support them on that they might not be communicating verbally. And as a coach, I encourage you to set up your learning environment to be attractive and conducive for learning. This means not having a bunch of junk or things happening in the background of your Zoom meetings so students can focus on what you're working on and not what's going on in your background. So should sessions be different for different ages? Well, this could be a whole nother video, and it will in the future, but I want to give you a broad overview of how sessions may differ for different ages. Sessions with elementary students should be focused on developing good routines, self-regulation skills, and habits that are going to build over time. Oftentimes, elementary students should be doing sessions in person rather than online, especially if they have difficulties with sitting still for extended periods of time. Middle school is where the foundation for school success is built, and this is often the best time to start executive function coaching because students move from working with one teacher to multiple teachers. This is a great time to work on emailing teachers, setting up a student dashboard where they can track all their upcoming and missing assignments, and building templates that they can use through their years will be very helpful. High school is a great time to balance personal activities with school demands. This is a great time for students to go deep into learning how to use a calendar, communicate effectively with teachers, and plan for activities during the summer and beyond school that are going to help them be successful in their careers. College is a great time to focus on independent living skills, developing a budget, and living away from home so students can make the successful leap into a career. And finally, adult coaching is best focused on lifestyle and work optimization, building healthy weekly habits, upskilling to improve professional skills, managing complex projects, and developing better work relationships. I want you to take action. Download my How to Run an Executive Function Coaching Session sheet in the link below. What questions do you have about executive function coaching sessions? Please share them in the comments below. Lastly, please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon so you can get notifications for when my next videos come out. All right, see you in the next one.